Concerns about the welfare of fish fall under a number of categories. The welfare of fish which are fished recreationally, the welfare of fish that are harvested from the oceans in commercial fisheries. We're concerned about the farming of fish in aquaculture. This may include sea pens, where significant areas of the sea are literally enclosed in nets and the fish are raised within them. Historically, it was thought that fish don't experience pain because they don't show their pain in the same way that we do. However, we realise now that fish have the same neuroanatomical architecture, so they have nerve endings on the surface of their skin and elsewhere in their bodies that are able to detect noxious stimuli, so for example the teeth of a predator animal. We also know from behavioural studies that they exhibit responses to things that would be painful in mammals. For example, rainbow trout have got quite fleshy lips and they've been injected with acetic acid. This has been followed by vigorous rubbing of their lips upon the gravel of their enclosures and agitated behaviour. Some invertebrate animals are thought to be able to experience pain as well and also have high cognitive processes. Octopi are a good example of this. They have very well developed central nervous systems with giant axons or nerve cells. They're able to solve maze puzzles and challenges within their environments. Welfare problems associated with fish farming occur at several different stages. These fish have been selected over many generations to grow as quickly as possible, but there have been some unintended side effects. Unfortunately, there are now fairly high rates of birth defects. Stocking densities and food provision can also cause welfare problems. If stocking densities are too low, the fish may not be stimulated to engage in normal schooling behaviour. If stocking densities are too high and the fish are too crowded, this can cause increased aggression. Water quality is extremely important to farm fish, so we're particularly concerned about the accumulation of waste from the fish themselves. On intensive fish farms, very large numbers of fish are confined within pretty small spaces and usually without anything in the way of environmental enrichment. And it's important that at least an appropriate amount of space be provided. Features such as the provision of underwater lighting and the removal of dark shadowed spaces can encourage the fish to use all of their available space. Unfortunately, an important welfare concern is feed restriction, and this is done for a number of reasons. One would be because the market price of the type of fish being farmed appears to be dropping, and in this case producers may decrease the amount of food provided to slow the growth rates of the fish in the hope that when they do reach marketable body weight, the prices will have come up. The feed provided to the fish can be restricted, which can create an important welfare concern. In hatcheries rearing salmon and other species, cannibalism is common if the fish are not graded by size. So in order to grade the fish, they are captured and handled and tossed into one container or another. This process is stressful for the fish, and the handling of fish can always damage the fragile mucus coat that enables the fish to glide through the water. For reasons such as health and disease surveillance, fish are increasingly being tagged. The fins may be clipped. They can have external devices attached through the fins. There can be devices which are surgically inserted within their abdomens. When fish are transported to the slaughtering facility, they undergo quite a lot of stress. This may involve handling, it may involve being crowded together in small tanks. Various methods are used to slaughter fish, and unfortunately there's a lot less protection for fish than there is for land animals during the slaughtering process. One method that has been used a lot is simply allowing the fish to suffocate in air. The time to loss of consciousness varies from 5 minutes to over an hour depending on the species. Fish are killed in slaughterhouses usually by having their gills cut. This is an acutely painful procedure and very stressful, and it's necessary that the fish are stunned unconscious prior to this occurring. Crustaceans such as lobsters and crabs have often been killed by dropping them directly into boiling saucepans of water. This is accompanied by behavioural responses. We should be stunning them unconscious before they're killed. Fish that are harvested from the oceans do get to experience a life free in the wild, but at the end of that time they're killed using methods that are very inhumane. Fish can take from 1 to 4 hours to die in seine nets, 4 to 6 hours to die on hooks, and up to 24 hours to die in other kinds of nets. In order to maintain neutral buoyancy at depth, fish have swim bladders, and when these fish are captured from depths and dragged up to the surface, the swim bladders expand, and very often they do burst, unfortunately, and they can prolapse out of organs. By 2018 there were around about 70 billion land animals killed for food each year. Compared to this, there are estimated to be 1 to 3 trillion fish killed for food each year, so the numbers are far, far greater, and yet paradoxically, so little attention has been paid to the welfare of fish.